Hi, this is 365801 and this is another 2021 BL Year in Review video. So this video is all about how well I completed collections in 2021. This is the third annual video of its kind that I have done. The very first one, I organised it by monthly hauls. And for each month, I then looked at which series I was completing, because at that point in time, it felt much more appropriate to be focusing on completing series rather than completing publishers. Now, when last year came around, it felt much more likely that I would be able to complete a publisher at some point, so that's how I decided to organize it by publisher, and in that way I could look at how well I was doing in terms of completing the collection as a whole, how well I was doing at completing a specific publishers, and how I was able to complete specific series within each publisher. Now, I really enjoy going back and looking over my old videos. It's really fun to see how well I did and which publishers or series I was focusing on, and also how I organised the video. Last year I decided to organise by publisher, and I would do it in descending order, so how many books I was able to haul from a particular publisher from the most to the least. So I think we should just stick with that because it seemed to work. Now, the first publisher might not be a huge surprise if you've been watching regularly my monthly manga haul videos, but if you watched last year's video, it will be a huge surprise. Last year I was only able to pick up one volume, Merry Family Plan, and this year I was able to pick up 28 volumes of net comics. Now, from these 28 volumes, I was able to pick up the full complete set of Let Die, that's volumes 1 to 15, so that's a complete series done. I was also able to pick up volumes 2, 3 and 4 of Prince Barry, and that means I have all 4 volumes that are published. I think that is it complete. There are, as I've mentioned before, some digital extras I think you might be able to pick up, but in print, that's everything. So I have these 2 completed. I have a single volume Love Full of Scars, that's it completed, and The Greatest Villain, that's a single volume too. I still have, though, to finish collecting To Take an Enemy's Heart, Intense, His House, and some extras from the Totally Captivated series. So there are still a few titles and volumes to pick up from net comics going forward in 2022. Now, the next publisher that I collected the most from was Sublime Manga, and from Sublime I picked up 16 volumes. Now, unfortunately, from Sublime I have not completed a single series. I have instead added another 5 new series that I'm collecting. Most of these are either continuing or have now started a new series. Except for Nights, which is actually a duplicate and I don't really need it, so I could get rid of that one and sell it on. The 5 new ones that I have started is MEDK, Birds of Shangri-La, Dick Fight Island, Toriton, Birds of a Feather, and I think the other one is Jealousy, yes. Everything else that I picked up is already part of a series, so I am not completing anything so far, but I am up to date with Finder and Punch Up and Candy Color Paradox, as well as Therapy Game and The World's Greatest First Love and Candy Color Paradox so far anyway. In the UK, the other volumes haven't come out yet. So I don't feel like I'm doing terribly well in terms of completing collections, but I am adding to the collection, which is what it is. Now, the next biggest publisher that I collected from is June Manga, and I'm actually really pleased with the amount. I think it's 13 volumes. I was able to complete Right Here, Right Now, that's a 2-volume series, as well as Close the Last Door Volume 2. This made me so happy. I was also able to complete Great Place High School. That was Volume 2, and that was in a 4-volume series. I was also able to pick up quite a few single volumes, such as Mamiya Dollhouse, The Lonely Egotist, Teach Me Tutor, Endless Comfort, Utahime, and Suggestive Eyes. Some of the others are continuing series, for example Flower of Life Volume 2, but Volume 4 is going to be so difficult to get. I also, of course, picked up 2 volumes of Twittering Birds. I think Volume 6 may be available soon in the UK. I hopefully will pick a copy up when it is released. Other than that, I'm really quite happy and pleased with what I've got. I've got only a few more volumes to pick up from June Manga in terms of their out of print titles, but they will be much more difficult. So if I pick up any this year, that will probably be a miracle. Now the next publisher is Presse, which is kind of a surprise because I wasn't really planning on picking up very much from them, and also they don't really publish BL, or at least they haven't done for a long time other than Monster and the Beast. But what I did pick up is kind of adjacent. 1001 Nights is an 11 volume series, and it was published by another publisher, which is, you can see, I've just put it in with them because it is part of the series. So volume 4, 5, 6 and 7 is Presse, and volumes 1 to 3 were published before. So I have started that series and I hope to one day be able to complete it. I also picked up Olympus. This is actually a 2 volume series in an omnibus, so that's it complete, which is really great, so I've also got that. But unfortunately I started 2 more series, which is A Polar Bear in Love and Betrayal Knows My Name. I really would like to be able to get the full complete sets for these 2 series, and that's something to work towards in 2022. Now for 801, I only really needed 3 volumes to be able to complete the whole publisher, but I did pick up 9 altogether, and that's because I got some duplicates. When I picked up Ze volumes 1 through 6, that meant that I could get volume 6, and even though it was £35, that's still an absolute bargain for volume 6. And it did mean that I was complete, and I have the whole complete Ze series. Yay! I'm actually incredibly excited about that. I was also able to pick up Love is Like a Hurricane volume 1, and that completed that series too. This is a series that most people really love, but when I read the back of the blurb, and I was like, oh, this doesn't sound like something I'm going to enjoy, so I haven't actually read it yet. Let me know in the comments down below if it's one of your favourites. And the other one is A Fallen Saint's Kiss, which was just a one-off, and I ended up picking up 2 copies, so I'm going to have to get rid of one of the copies at some point. So yeah, I only had 3 to get, and I got them. So not only did I complete series, I completed a publisher, and it really is exciting, and I'm really excited again just to be thinking about it. Something that I don't ever need to do. So you won't see this in next year's video. There's no more 801 for me to get. Meh meh. I'm so kind of like chuffed about it still. I am wearing my chuffy badge. Now I continue to wear my chuffy badge for Blue, which is the next publisher on the list. I picked up 8 volumes from Blue, and with this I was able to complete the Gaku in Heaven set. There are 3 books. The first one is easy to get, it's very cheap, you can get it no bother at all, but the next 2 are a little bit more tricky to get hold of, especially the third one. Is it Endo's Calling? I think there are more Gaku in Heaven in Japanese, but only 3 were published by Blue. The other one that I needed to get was You Will Drown in Love by Hinako Takanaga, and this is kind of like a 3 volume set, although in Japanese it's more. They did have You Will Fall in Love and You Will Drown in Love, and one of them has a volume 1 and a volume 2. So those were the series that I was able to complete, but I was also able to complete the publisher. Blood Honey or Blood Honey Plus, Isle of Forbidden Love and Crimson Snow were the other one-shot titles that I need to pick up. And I did, and that's everything. So no more Blue do I need to collect. It's all collected. So yeah, Chuffy badge is very proudly displayed. Now we know that Blue is the defunct BL imprint of the old Tokyopop, And of course Tokyopop is back again. And so I have some old Tokyopop and some new Tokyopop. I think it's all together 7 volumes, 4 old ones and 3 newer ones. And I am slowly collecting Silver Diamond. I've got volumes 2, 3, 4 and 6. There's only 9 published. It's a really long series. Only 9 were published by Tokyopop before they went under. And so those are the ones I need to complete. So I'm still ongoing with that one. I did manage to complete Star Collector. I only needed volume 2 to be able to read the rest of the series because it's a 2-volume series. I still haven't read it, but I have collected it. Don't Call Me Daddy, I was gifted, but I don't have Don't Call Me Dirty. So in my head, I kind of feel like that's like a duology, that I need to get the 2 of them together to be able to read. So I still haven't read Don't Call Me Daddy. And the other one there is just a one-shot. BL Fans Love My Brother, and I'm quite happy to add that to the collection too. Now the next publisher is Vertical, or is it Kodansha? So Vertical were kind of bought over by Kodansha, and What Did You Eat Yesterday is the only title that I purchase from Vertical. It's the only one that I'm really like a fan of, and I was able to get volume 6, 7 and 9, 2 volumes of 9, because I really didn't believe that I was able to purchase it properly. I thought it was a joke, so I actually ended up buying it twice. I know that there are more volumes being released, and I think the final volume will be released in English, perhaps this year. I think it's 17 or 18 altogether. I'm up to volume 13, so I still have another like 5 to go before the end of the series. So I'm still ongoing with Vertical. Now, a publisher I would have expected to be higher up in this kind of list is 7 Seas, and that's because 7 Seas do release a lot of titles that I'm very interested in, that I'm excited about, and that I want to purchase, but I never actually get round to purchasing them. I picked up BL Metamorphosis Volume 3. This was new to my collection, so it's a new series added. I don't have volumes 1 and 2, and I don't have volumes 4 and 5. So it's only a 5-volume series. I need to pick up the rest to be able to read and complete that series. I also picked up the first volumes of each of the MXTX novels. I will continue with these as well. So these are new to the collection, new series to the collection, and there are quite a few 7 Seas titles that I'm gonna have to pick up, and so maybe I should say what I did with netcomics. 2022 is gonna have to be the year of 7 Seas. I'm just gonna have to start buying them, because that seemed to work last year, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it works again. Now the next publisher is Doki Doki. Now this is kind of like a publisher imprint of June DMP, and I was able to pick up 4 volumes. Now these are the 4 volumes that I actually wanted to pick up. They're the ones I'm more interested in. Boys Love, Electric Hands, I Want to Bite, and Wolf God. Wolf God, though, not really that much of an interest. It is volume 1, it's the only one published. It does mean that in terms of Doki Doki, I have a few that I need to pick up, but not many that I'm actually all that interested in. Millennium Prime Minister Volume 1 to be able to complete that series, and Princess Plus to be able to get all the Princess, but honestly I'm not all that bothered about some of the Doki Doki titles that I don't have, but these are the BL ones that I know are BL. Wolf God I'm not too sure about, but I Want to Buy, Electric Hands and Boys Love. They are Boys Love titles, BL titles, and I knew I needed to have them in the collection. So in terms of completing the publisher, this is really great, and it did kind of make me feel like I had almost everything. Once I've got Millennium Prime Minister Volume 1 and completed that series, I won't feel so much pressure to pick up the rest. Some of them are more like shoujo rather than BL, and as you know, I'm like more of a BL collector. It might be nice to get them all, so I'll keep an eye out for cheap copies, but I don't see myself getting them. So I'm happy with these at the moment. Now next are the publishers that I only picked up 1 or 2 titles from, and this first one is Be Beautiful. I picked up volume 3 of Embracing Love and volume 8 of Kazuna Bonds of Love. That means I still have some Embracing Love and I still have some Kazuna to pick up, and I did see some, but they were always for just that little bit more expensive than I wanted to, so I haven't picked them up yet. I will just keep an eye out as and when they are available for a good price. So I'm still collecting these series. The next publisher is Drama Queen, and I'm really excited that I was able to get The Judged by Akira Honma. It's usually very expensive, and I was originally excited to get Missing Road, although then I read it. The only one that I'm actually really excited about getting next is The Summit. There are a few shoujo titles that have kind of BL-esque elements from Drama Queen, but I'm not really that interested. I looked at them and they don't really seem to be that much BLE. So the only one left is The Summit, which is a Korean work, or Rush Volume 1, which was their OEL foray into publishing. And as you all know, I have very discerning taste when it comes to OEL. So the only one I really need to pick up is The Summit. And if I got hold of The Summit, I would just call Drama Queen done, because then I'd have everything that's BL in it that I'm actually wanting. So yeah, I only have one more to get for Drama Queen. Now this next publisher is really technically Denpa, but they also have the Kuma imprint. I think it's all the same. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So I picked up Maiden Railways, which is Asumiko Nakamura's kind of short story collection, which I was really excited to get hold of, and I think it was only £4. And Canis. These two, very happy to have added to collection. There's a lot more Kuma books that are being published or have been published in 2021 that I need to pick up. Many of them though don't seem to be series, although I'm not entirely sure about Canis. There might be more in Japanese. Let me know if you know. Now I put these two together because technically they're kind of Viz adjacent, but not necessarily sublime. One is a shoujo beat title and one is a Viz imprint title. Descendants of Darkness Volume 11, so I've added a new series to collect. I always wanted to collect them and I wanted to get them for a good price, but I never really managed to get all of them for a good price, so I just ended up picking up this one volume. And of course, My Love Mix-Up, which I don't care what you say, must be BL, it has to be. This is volume 1. I definitely want to collect this in 2022, so I'm quite happy to have added this series to collect. And I will work towards completing it. I don't know how many volumes there are in Japanese. If you know, let me know. I want to have the full series and I want to see where this one goes. Now on to the publishers with just a single volume, and this is Incubus Volume 1 Kitty Media. Now I started 2021 needing to pick up only one single volume to complete the full publisher, and I am starting 2022 in exactly the same position, and that's because my volume 1 of Incubus I did not know was damaged inside, and so I needed to try and pick up a replacement. So I now have the replacement of volume 1, and that means I still need to pick up volume 3, which is very expensive and difficult to get hold of. And I think someone read the series because they have the full complete series and they said it was absolute trash. And it's also, as you know, an OEL. So I don't know why, but I feel like I need to get volume 3 to complete the whole publisher. But I also don't care because I don't really want to read it. So it makes me feel very sad. I feel like I need to collect it and get it, have it in the collection and just be like, okay, done. Because other than that, Kitty Media, I completed, and I completed it like a year and a half ago. I also picked up Square Enix's Cherry Magic, 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, Volume 3. I need to pick up the rest of the series as it's being published. This is Square Enix's kind of new imprint of manga, and that they are also publishing BL is quite exciting. So I really want to get the rest of Cherry Magic. Everyone says it's really good and I really enjoyed the Japanese drama. So this is one that I've added to the collection and I will need to continue to collect it to be able to complete it at some point. Now I Hear the Sunspot Limit Volume 3 I had thought was the end of the I Hear the Sunspot series, so I thought this would be a completed series and therefore a completed publisher for One Piece Books, But turns out the author is just continuing to write the story, and I'm quite happy about this. You know, sometimes it's nice to say, yay, I've completed this, and sometimes it's nice to say, yay, there's more, and I will wait for it. So I will buy anything that I get from this author. Now the next publisher is Kodansha, just on its own, not vertical, and I only picked up one volume, and that is Ten Dance Volume 1. I had it digitally before, so I'm quite happy that I was able to get a print volume, but I still need to get Volume 2, and I think Volume 6 is just coming out soon, so I now have those 2 volumes to get. I don't actually have too many Kodansha titles in my collection, and I think that's something I'm going to have to rectify, especially because, as you can see, I didn't pick up a single Hitorijime My Hero or the new Hitorijime Boyfriend that came out as well, so I'm really behind in Kodansha titles and picking up Kodansha, so maybe 2022 is a year when I should pick up some more Kodansha as well. Now here is where we come to the sort of miscellaneous, as it were. I did pick up the Fantagraphics Drunken Dream by Moto Hagio. I also picked up the first 3 volumes of Vince. It's by C.S. Picat, and some random Mariko Hihara yaoi novels. I would like to actually get the rest of them. They are kind of like self-published on Amazon, I think, so they shouldn't be too difficult to get hold of, but I would prefer to get them as cheaply as possible because I suspect that they're not very good. But you never know, they might be. So I'm continuing to collect Mariko's work as well. Now there is that 1 volume With Abandon by J.L. Langley, which completes the trilogy of the With or Without series, which that is probably my that, along with I Hear the Sunspot, is like the completed collection that I'm really most proud of. But as I Hear the Sunspot is continuing, I guess With Abandon, which is not a BL manga at all, is probably the thing that I'm most happy about completing. Like, forget 801 and Blue. With Abandon made me so happy. I guess maybe Close the Last Door Volume 2 also made me really happy. So in terms of completing collections, I'm guessing those are the 2 that I'm most excited about, or I was most excited about during 2021. My proudest moments of collecting and completing collections, I was able to get the 2nd volume of Close the Last Door, and I was able to get this 3rd volume of the With or Without series, With Abandon. So excited to get them, and just so happy to have them in the collection. So completing collections in that respect, these are the ones that are my trophies. Now I also just realised that I must have lost the footage of one publisher that I picked up 1 volume of, and that is Dieu. I was able to pick up Future Lovers Volume 1, which completed the series. It's a 2-volume series, so I think I got Future Lovers Volume 1 in 2021. So that's the last one. In Dieu, I still have to get Kiss All the Boys Volume 2 and 3 and Mr. Mistress Volume 2. So I was able to complete 1 series in Dieu, but I still have 2 series to complete, and that means I have 3 volumes to collect for Dieu, and that will be a completed publisher as well. So in conclusion, have I completed my collection? No, not yet. That's still an ongoing process. The aim would be to collect everything up to the point where I'm waiting for a release, and therefore I would be up to date and getting like pre-orders and things. That would be like the main goal, the main aim, to have everything and just be getting new stuff as and when it comes out. So I'm not at that stage yet. The next thing is to collect publishers, and I have collected 2 complete publishers, and I'm very close to collecting a few others as well. I think there's 7 altogether that have some older print titles or out of print publishers that I'm collecting from, and I'm very nearly there, but there's still a little way to go. I also have completed or finished series, and that was 13 series I've completed in 2021, and I'm really happy about that, until I say that I have started collecting 20 new series. So That doesn't include Let Die, which technically is also a started and finished series. So yeah, 20 new series I've started collecting, and 13 I have completed. So I am down on that one. There's more to complete now. Overall, I'm quite happy with the number of publishers I'm collecting from, the publishers that I was able to complete, and also just in general how my collecting has gone over 2021. I'm even happy that I was slowing down at the end of the year and taking my time. I don't want to rush it. I want to enjoy the collecting experience. I also want to be a little bit more discerning about what I'm buying and putting into the collection. Although, of course, if you want to get everything, eventually you will pick everything up. I do think that mixing in more 2022 releases will make me enjoy the collecting experience more, as I am obviously reading newer releases more readily than I am the out of print ones. So yeah, it's been an interesting collecting year. Have you collected any series? Have you got any great white whales and managed to collect a series in completion and been really excited about it? I know I was really excited to get the Ze volume for volume 6. That was a big find, with Abandon obviously and Close the Last Door. I think there's been a few real highlights this year for some of the titles that I've picked up and some of the series that I've been able to complete. Obviously the 2 publishers was really exciting as well. So yeah, I'm kind of wondering, how did everyone else get on with their BL manga collection in 2021? Let me know in the comments down below. I am 365801. This has been another 2021 BL year in review video. I make videos about BL manga, yaoi, male romance, and all that good stuff. I hope everyone's doing really well. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!